Welcome, my beautiful ones. Today I'm going to share with you my first time experience about how awareness can really teach you something. And it was very interesting. I was sort of expecting to have a few guests at our place, and it was like a celebration. And it was the way it was organized, because that's very important. It was coming more from my husband than myself. He wanted, and I followed. And we usually sort of, do things together, which I felt he was very excited. And I thought, let's make beautiful. And I want you to just pay attention to one thing, what I said. It was his idea, not mine, and I followed. And we did like a lot, and it was about cooking, about preparing different dishes. We sat together, we set the menu, we did all those things that we used to do, because you might not know, we love cooking, we love creating place lovely to be just easy, to be beautiful. And it was almost like this. And it came to the day, it came to that celebration. We had people coming, everybody enjoyed it, the food was delicious, everything was exactly the way we planned, like we kind of structured how things should be, which was beautiful. The place was clean, everything was ready, there was no delay, everything was beautiful. And normally, people say, this is how it is. But I tell you one thing. When everybody left, I felt, and I don't want to exaggerate, but I will this time, I felt so empty, like empty. I felt like, the internal interpretation would be probably, I felt lonely in the whole quiet room. And then, I fell in sleep. I was exhausted. And next morning, I was just simply curious why I felt like this, because everybody loved that. Everybody replied, thank you for the party. Everything was great. But what was happening with me was my very individual experience, one-on-one with my awareness. The awareness showed me that the structure was perfectly prepared. We knew what we're going to cook. We knew who is coming. Everything was right from the all steps were there, and it was beautiful, because it makes you think, okay, I've prepared, now we can sit, we can relax. But what the awareness was teaching me, that's not enough. And even I knew that, but I just want to show you how quickly you can be taken by that surviving mechanism, that energy of everything has to be calculated, everything has to be going certain way, otherwise it won't work. Which, it was in a way happening this way because I follow my husband, and this is the key. I follow his energy. He wanted, and I did it. Myself, that's why I think this is my interpretation. That's why the awareness want to show me something, that if you are running empty, even to the most beautiful creation, like for example, we had something to celebrate, and it comes from you because you just do this because of your husband, which, in the way we think is good to do it, because, we do it together. But inside, what happened really inside of me, and I realized this later on, that I didn't really feel like deeply inspired to create, like this kind of almost like a sizzling inside. Let's do this, let's do that. It was just okay, I follow, and it was beautiful. We create everything in peace. But the sense of such an isolation and the sense of this emptiness it only was presented to me, and I felt it wasn't like it's supposed to be. It was not how I wanted. I didn't feel this was my creation. That was interesting, that I felt almost like I was there. I would not say outsider, but I was not in this creation. And, you know, to me, like internally, it felt like empty. It felt, like you're cooking a soup, and you can cook like 2 or 3 the same soup, but each one can taste different, and some can be totally, tasteless, and some can be just incredible. And this is exactly probably the best analogy for that. My awareness took me into the silence, to that emptiness, to notice something that I have created, almost like, I could watch this, I could see that, but it wasn't really, that enriched with the flavors, with the herbs, with that. It was still very much like, like clicking off the task, okay, I did this, I did this, and that. And for majority of us is okay. But from there, you can really feel you a doer. You just, the task follower. You're just doing those things. But what they do, you're using not the energy that God gave us, not the energy that give you the flow of creation. Won't give you that energy, won't give you that sense of more expansion, like feeling like, even through the party, I could feel, let's do more. I was like, energetically, probably I didn't mention that yet, energetically during that time, I was a little bit low. I was really following, like my husband, which I was just, that would not probably use that word, probably won't fit surviving, but it came from, that kind of urgency. Let's make this work. We have to do that. Otherwise, if we don't do this, it won't work. That type of structure is not a creative structure, which next time it has to come not only from my husband, that energy of let's do it. It should come with me. And if I don't have that next time, I should see what part of me feel like this, feel like doesn't want that, and see why she doesn't want it. Because what I did, I was in that party from that low energy identity, the trying to make things working. My love, this is how I want to share with you, and see where you do things in your life, in your business, in your health, that you following someone orders, someone, I have to do it, because in a moment you can shift that. And my awareness purely showed me the sense of, I just felt like yuck. I felt it was wrong. It was, I felt like not enough. I felt like it was just like not, because I was at this party doing this from that identity, from the identity I help my husband, not to be in fully, I just help him. And again, for most of us, this is how we were taught, how we were doing, but there is a different way. Just recognize who feels like that, and recognize this is not me really, this is, I am open to create more rather than following my husband energy, and see because it is such a game changer. And I'm so grateful for my awareness to show me that, because it was very uncomfortable, from all these people writing back to me how beautiful that night was, how food was great, and I felt not at all. And I really need to work out what to do next time, which that was absolutely a great lesson worth it, that discomfort for me to go next time and not getting lost with that sneaky energy of identity, my loves. Lots of love and see you next time. Bye for now.